All right, let's let the folks in.
Yes.
Here we go.
And they come tumbling in.
Indeed.
Hello, hello, hello. Hi. Hi, good to see everybody. Hello.
Hey, Sid, I saw you in a movie I didn't expect.
Which movie?
The Fifth Column.
Oh,
Fifth
no,
Estate.
it was someone else, I think.
Fifth
Unless
Estate.
they...
That was you.
Fifth Estate.
Fifth Estate. Fifth Estate.
Fifth Estate.
Thank you.
know, I can't remember it.
It was
It was one
cameo.
or two scenes. I didn't expect it.
Yeah.
Hello.
Uh-oh. I think I muted him. Let me
Uh-oh.
I was
Don't
trying to
mute
mute
this, Sid.
somebody else. Let's see if we can do it.
Okay, I'm muted. I'm back.
Okay. Folks, we're going to get started. We are excited to have Sid back with us.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for the welcomes. I'm home, finally.
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 So welcome to the Sid City Social Club for Friday, December 17th. All right. And with that, over to Sid, back in familiar surroundings.
Thank you. Thanks, Mel. I have been away for 8.5 months, and that's a crazy amount of time. I've been away before for like 3 months, 2 months, and bits and pieces, but I discovered it's actually too long. There's only so much kind of real soul you get from FaceTiming or Zooming with your loved ones. After a while, we just sort of did it a little bit less, and then there was and I had nothing to talk about. So how was your week? It was fine. I went filming on Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday, and then the other 2 days I just spent my time in my room. So there was a very samey, very repetitive. So I'm so happy to be back home, and it couldn't be better time because there's Christmas to do or the holidays, depending on where you are. So we're fiendishly preparing and discovering and figuring out what we've got to do for the big lunch. And then I've been trying to get Christmas presents sorted out. I never get these things done anyway, normally until the last minute. So I'm one of those people who it's always too late to mail stuff to me. So I have to go out to stores and find stuff. It's always kind of random and ad hoc. Anyway, it's brilliant to be home. I can't wait to say hi to you guys. I'm sorry I've been pretty sort of reclusive. The work was quite hard. For those of you who don't know, I've just come off a TV series for Paramount and Apple TV. They do it together, called Shantaram, which is after it's a novel that's kind of a cult hit, really, from a few years ago. And it's all set in Bombay, and it's all very kind of underworldy and smoky rooms and beautiful people hanging out and trying to kill each other, usual sort of thing. And I play one of those, one of the really sort of kind of the head of the underworld, really, who's trying to hold on to power. Charlie Hunnam, who is the boss, the lead of it, and he's literally our boss. He's one of the producers, and it was kind of great fun. It was a great fun thing to do. It was mad because we had lots of lockdowns in the middle. The first lockdown in Melbourne, which is a great city, by the way, it's a long way, warnings, but it's a tremendous city. It's really relaxed and cosmopolitan and multi-ethnic and tolerant of everything in the world and beautiful to look at. But it locked down when we got there, which meant that we couldn't do anything. We certainly couldn't go to restaurants and stuff. We got shut down for a whole week when we were in Thailand. We went to Thailand for 4 months in the middle of this, in the rainy season, and it is actually quite rainy. Every evening about 5 o'clock, the heavens open. We had to stop filming for 7 hours one day. So you literally just sit in a chair because you can't leave the set in case the rain stops. And then you can't find any of the actors anyway. So they want you all sitting there like penguins and waiting for the starting gun to go off again. I took so many photographs of rain that day because I had really nothing else to do. And that was just preceded a point where the government shut down all business in Thailand. No more than 5 people could congregate at a given time. So our production, which is 250 to 500 people, just shut down abruptly. Luckily, we went back to work a week later. Anyway, we started again, and I'm back. So let's talk to somebody. And if anyone wants to ask questions about that show, they're welcome to. I won't be able to give plot details away or anything like that, obviously. And I'm sure I'm on some non-disclosure agreement.
We are very glad that you're back and safe, and we're looking forward to seeing what you've been doing for the last 8 months.
Thank you.
Ready. We're going to start today with Emma Shaw, who has a birthday and a big project that may or may not be happening.
Emma!
Hey,
Amazing,
how are you,
Emma.
Sid?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I tragically have a theatre play in London to plug right now. So help me through it.
Yeah, I will. We'll do this together. We'll get through this.
Yeah, how are you to begin with? You're settling back in all right?
I'm great.
Yeah.
I my wife gave me a cold as soon as I arrived. And so we bought all these testing kits to find out whether we had COVID. Apparently we don't. So it was a cold. How do you get cold? How does that happen now? But apart from that, I'm really good.
That's good.
Can everybody please say happy birthday for you? Future happy birthday for Emma.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Emma.
Happy birthday, Emma.
Happy birthday, my dear.
Yes, thank you. Obviously, I have to share it with the twin sister, so it's not quite as, exclusive.
Is Monday the
to me.
20th? Because mine's the 21st.
Oh,
Yeah,
happy
there
birthday
you go.
to you too. Can we go do a quick happy birthday to Renee as well, please?
Yes.
Happy
birthday, Renee.
Happy birthday, Renee.
Colin managing to sound creepy as ever the last time.
It's
Welcome back, Colin.
yes. Obviously, we had plans, but they're not happening now. So yeah.
So tell us what happened. So so the Omicron thing has arrived in the UK.
So firstly, my play starts on the 14th of January. I'm producing it. I'm sure this will have all blown over by then. I'm sure.
Good. Yes. I'm
but
absolutely with you.
yes, thank you, Mel. This is the poster for the show. So we're on at the Young Vic from
Emma, you're at the Young Vic.
Yes. So
that is one of the finest theatres in London. Congratulations.
Yes, they've been very good to us. We're an associate company there, Sid, so they've given us an awful lot of stuff in kind. We've been an associate company there for 2 years, and this show was meant to happen in March 2020. Obviously didn't, because it got cancelled. Yeah, they've been very good to us. We've had to re-raise most of the money again.
Only the finest work goes on at the Young Vic. I mean, it is one of the most highly reputable companies in London. I mean, I remember seeing Peter Brook's Hamlet.
Yes, there is a really lovely theatre, really great, really supportive. But obviously, they're going through a very difficult time at the minute. So yeah, it was all fine until about this Monday, and then on Tuesday, everybody that I worked with started texting me to say they had to self-isolate or they were sick. By Wednesday, I had 20 calls on Wednesday from people saying that they tested positive and all this, and say. This is worse than March 2020, and it's worse than January 2020. Wait, hang on, I got confused. When did this start? Yeah, March. Yeah, it's worse than the first and the other peak. It's worse than that.
It is,
and it's gone through the theatre here like nothing. All the shows are cancelled. My production manager is doing a show at the Pleasance. They're cancelled. It's awful. All the pantos have gone down. And obviously that's where we make all the money. So
of course it is. Pantos is pantomimes for anyone who doesn't know what a panto is, and it's a kind of children's show but dressed up as it's an adult show dressed up as a kids show.
Yeah. You ever done one?
I've done one. I started my career doing one. I did Sinbad the Sailor in the Wythenshawe Theatre in Manchester back in 1843, something like that.
You were Sinbad, where you were the lead.
I was not, but anyway, that was something to make the kids laugh, which they did, and they threw sweets at us, and that was painful because those sweets, they throw them, and they really enjoy hitting you if while you're not looking. So they're just constantly pelleting the stage with hard-boiled candy. I have done a panto.
People can come to the show and throw sweets at the actors all they want. It's not that sort of play, but just anybody showing up would be good. Yes.
Well, I wish you so much luck getting that on. I mean, you never know.
Fortunately, we've done 4 weeks of rehearsal because we started early because we were worried we'd get shut down. So we've managed to rehearse the whole thing. We were rehearsing at New Diorama because they'd given us space, so we weren't in the venue that's now got COVID.
Wow.
So all of my guys are fine and seem okay, and we've set up the budget so that we can pay everybody even if we don't have any box office.
That's amazing.
Yes, so I think the team has been really good and we've got everything covered. If we can't do it live in January and February, we're filming it and we're going to stream it. And so I will be back on Sid City Discord spamming people with links to come and see that instead.
Tell us a little bit about how you put this together.
If not for the COVID thing going on, it's been a great experience. The team are really good. We started in September. We've got a lot of sponsors and funders. It's mainly funded by Arts Council England.
Good.
And then Black Thrive, who are a mental health charity for the Black community in London, have given us £8,000, which is very nice of them. And Lambeth Council are putting up some money. And then, as I say, the Young Vic have given us a lot in kind as well. So, yeah, I think it's been a struggle for the artistic team having to raise the money all over again. We have made the decision that if we get cancelled this time, we're not doing it again because it's just too much.
Too disappointing every time. Sort of left at the altar.
Yeah, but as I say, we've had 4 weeks of rehearsal. It's a Nigerian British play, and Crying in the Wilderness, who are the company, they've got this theatrical style which is called Theatre of the Soul, which is meant to be sort of integrating the Western tradition and the African tradition.
Interesting.
So yes, it's really interesting. I've learned a lot. Like, I'm Shakespeare, that's where I'm coming from, and so this was all very different. So it's all very much based on the work of Wole Soyinka, the Nigerian. Yes. It's all very holistic. So rather than just being a straight play, they have the choreographer in at the same time as the actors, with the musician, with the lighting, and they all do it at once. Great. It's a really interesting way to work. It's a play about first generation Black British guy who is sort of conducting a life review about how society views him and what he's achieved in life. And it's looking at how do you break out of the box society's put you in. The key question of the play is, who am I? And Anthony, who's the lead actor, who's on the poster, and Paul, our writer, are very keen to be kind of like an introspective but kind of liberating experience. I think it's definitely got a lot for a lot of people.
Great. Fantastic. Obviously, the lead actor's wonderful. I'm sure he's extremely good. What's his take on it? Was it a roller coaster of emotions in terms of you're going to be laughing 1 minute and possibly like, oh, the next?
So he originally trained as a dancer and then went on to do a lot of Wole Soyinka's plays in the 80s and 90s. And then he's gone to the Royal Shakespeare Company and he was Julius Caesar in 2018. But he's a very interesting actor because he's really expressive. And so you can see every thought and emotion in his whole body.
Yeah, that's
it was really difficult to find an actor who could do it. And Paul, the director, said basically, if Anthony can't do it, there's no replacement because it's such a unique style of acting. It's worth it to come along just to see what he's doing because it is.
What's his full name?
Anthony Offugabu. He's really good, and it's his performance that sells it really. And it's technically a 3-person play, but he's on stage 80% of the time, and he carries you through it. But yeah, really great actor. I would very strongly recommend people coming just to see that. So
who else is in it?
So Philip Krenus and Rebecca Summers.
Perfect.
But they've got much smaller parts. Originally, it was a 7-person play in 2020, and due to the pandemic, we've had to cut it down to 3 people. And we've had to write the script in such a way that if one of the actors is sick, we can do their parts with audio recording. So it's an interesting way of putting a play together because basically we have to make sure we can go on even if one person in the tech team or one actor is sick.
Yeah, that is true.
And we can't do understudies because people have found that if you've got an understudy in the cast, they've been with the cast. So if the cast get COVID, they get COVID. So there's no point.
Absolutely.
It's interesting how COVID is changing how you do theatre because we have to. So their parts are much smaller out of necessity. So.
Wow.
But yeah, I appreciate being able to plug it. Thank you. And it's possible if we lock down, it will be available to watch online.
Yeah. How are you preparing for the filming?
So we have a film crew already booked in on an emergency filming date, which is the 14th of January, which was meant to be our dress rehearsal. So basically we're going to film the dress and then see.
Just make sure the director's there and has some freedom with the camera, because sometimes he knows where the camera should be, probably better than anyone else. So as long as the director's there to go, make sure the camera's here for this moment, then you'll have a much slicker, much better, because sometimes you want to get the camera on stage and you can use the beauty of film by stopping and starting again and doing it again. Just taking a day to do it will make a big difference rather than just the length of, 3-hour show.
Okay, well that's reassuring. Yeah, because I've booked them in for the whole day. I never thought we'd be at this point, to be honest. But
have a chat with Anthony. Have a chat with Anthony. Just make sure he's comfortable with it, and say, look, we may stop it from time to time. Set the camera someplace and do it again. As long as you're comfortable with that, is that okay? Because we want to really make it look as good as it can, and the camera can get close. Just exploit the fact you're doing film. Film's beautiful for that.
Yeah, that's good advice. Thank you. yeah, didn't think we'd be here, but we are.
No, I have to tell you, you look well and happy, and I'm loving that. Not that I've ever seen you look otherwise.
I think we've all made our peace with COVID, haven't we? This is our third time through, so I'm like, okay, it's all falling apart. All right, let's just go with it.
Yeah.
The thing. And if I look well, it might be because Michael as well.
Hi, Michael. Just saying hi.
This is hello.
Hi,
You can't see it.
nice to meet you, Michael.
Everyone.
Yes, it's.
I hear
I'm
you've
just getting up
driven
waist.
all the way across London in the traffic.
How was
Yeah,
it?
I've been doing it all through the pandemic.
Yeah.
Fine. It is what it is. You can't stop.
I don't know
Yeah.
if you won't remember, but the first time I talked to you, we couldn't be together. So it's been like 2 years of Michael living on one side of London and me living on the other. So
But you got there. You found a way. It's fantastic. That's really great.
Plus, I remember the most important thing, which is Emma's birthday.
they've done that.
It is indeed.
Thank you. Like,
Well, listen,
they've done that.
Emma, it's been lovely to talk to you. If you need to
You
jump back
too.
on,
Good luck. Happy
Thank you.
birthday.
Thanks very much.
All right, we have another birthday to celebrate. Ariel.
I'm right here.
he's there.
You had me in
Ariel.
mid-lunch.
Oops. Good to see you, my friend. You've
Hello.
done something different to your hair.
I just kind of buzzed it off. Got tired of it. Don't know what to do with it. So
I
it makes
know
me
what
feel
to do,
older
right?
though. So what are you gonna do? I'm just gonna cover it in the Baltimore Orioles thing.
Well, happy birthday, Ariel. And
Thanks,
I hope
Sid.
everybody can come and say happy birthday.
Happy
Happy
birthday!
Happy birthday, Ariel.
Happy birthday.
Thank you, everyone. I'm getting to a point in life where I'm just kind of going, oh yeah, it's my birthday, and it.
Yeah. You got to the point where I am, where you can't actually remember whether you're 56 or 57.
Oh, I know. I'll be 53. I know damn well how old I'm going to be.
I
back.
seriously couldn't remember. I mean,
Oh,
we had
what-
to sit down with friends and go, okay, I was born in 1965. It's 22. I'm 56. Maybe I'm 50. Terrible.
Yeah, there's something that happened recently, and I was going the Beatles documentary that Peter Jackson had put out.
Oh, yeah.
The Get Back sessions. I know it got to the end, of course. Spoiler: they do a concert on the roof of their studio, and I started thinking I was just a month or so old when they were doing that. Holy
That's pretty
wow,
wild.
that long
That's
ago.
pretty wild. It is a fascinating documentary, though. I mean, I think it's in like
Yeah.
6 hours. I watched the first 2 hours with my boy.
It was old, but it felt timeless at the same time. It's like,
Yeah.
I was barely into this world, but it just felt newish. The earliest things I can even remember in my head to 3-ish years old is my dad playing the White Album. So
Wow,
they feature a lot in my life. So
that's
I was just
huge.
thinking of that.
As I said, I was watching it with Django, and the thing that I noticed, which really shocked me, was that Yoko Ono is such a lovely woman. She's such a terrific presence in the studio. She was made in the press. She's made out to be this harridan, this evil sorceress who
Nah.
does strange things, but that's absolutely not what she is at all. She was just this really calming presence, just
So not into the
always there.
avant-garde stuff. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but that amazing, and that avant-garde stuff is amazing. That music is now incredibly fashionable, so it's
Yeah.
futuristic.
But no, it dispelled that whole myth. Yeah.
What is your backdrop? I'm really curious what your backdrop is.
One of my favorite places around the holidays, it's Disneyland. Terry just came in.
Hi, Terry. How are you?
I kept hearing you. We're still, it's the house thing. Terry's not quite online yet. She just walked into the house.
Yeah, fair. She's got as much time as she wants. We'll be here for another hour and a half or whatever it is.
She's missing this part though, but I guess she can see
It's
the
true.
recording.
True. Should we just wait? Should we not say anything and just wait for her?
No,
Just sit here in silence and just wait
she
for her
got
to
caught up.
arrive.
She'll be here. And I will end up going to our convention happening called Farpoint. At least we'll have Brent Spiner with us, and
Oh, Brent's
we'll
fantastic.
have our own thing going with us and the other hundreds of people who might be there.
I spend a lot of time actually proportionately with Brent, given that I'm quite reclusive and don't spend much time with anybody, but I might have gone out 3 or 4 times socially just with Brent.
Sorry.
So what's going on in terms of your work? You're in one of the most interesting spheres of work to my mind, especially during this time.
As far as the work environment, I think it's kind of ended up in some kind of strange equilibrium. Work has never lifted any kind of protective mandates or rules. Even when things started lifting in the summertime, So that's there. I guess the best way of saying it, since last time we spoke, we moved to a brand new facility in the next city over, actually it's like right up the road. It's my birthday, Sid.
Hi,
It's
Terry.
Terry.
Welcome
Kinda,
in.
sorta. Oh, she just got me something. Work
Oh,
has
there you are.
been,
Yeah. You were
strange
coming and going.
equilibrium. But I've noticed in a lot of the histories and a lot of in the interviews, the social isolation is a big deal for patients and us.
Yeah.
It's just kind of work goes on. But yeah, we had moved into a new facility, so that accounts for a lot. There's a lot of natural lighting, and I have a nice clean office, so that helps. But
so I'm just for the people who don't know, I'm
a psychiatric physician, basically, not to be confused with psychologist, but our jobs overlap significantly. I'm the one who went to medical school.
Yeah, you're the one who can actually prescribe medication.
You got it. As well, the other oddity at work is some of the units haven't opened completely, including mine. For example, we can take up to 17 patients, but right now, physically, due to staffing shortages, we can only take 12, because I don't know what it's like outside of the US and Canada, but there has tended to be a nursing shortage for quite some time, but it has gotten worse in the last 2 years. So there's not enough people being hired to bring our unit to full capacity, to bring a couple of other services that we want to offer to full capacity. Our hospital is a satellite hospital from the main one, so there's that, but we're not running on all cylinders, basically.
I'm really interested, what is the youngest group of patients that you might have?
I'm limited to a range. It's an inpatient floor, it's a unit, and the ages from 18 to 30.
Right.
And while there is a specialty unit that takes care of people that have substance use disorders on top of everything else, we sometimes take those. It's just how things get divided often in behavioral
Do you
health.
notice a difference between the younger end of the arc and the older end in terms of general problems? The only reason I mention that is that this is now 2 years. This is a significant amount of time, this new way of living under this umbrella of COVID. Now, an 18-year-old, that's a significant period of their life. And obviously for a 30-year-old, they can sort of absorb some of that, but because they've got plenty of other life experience to dampen the effects of it. I worry a lot that, like, anyone under 18, frankly, is a big chunk of change in their existence.
It is. I mean, I've been so caught up in my own little world, but the numbers show that children and adolescents are especially vulnerable. Yes, it's taken 2 years out of their lives. All sorts of development happening. All sorts of educational, social, emotional, etc., depending on the age and such. I'm not an educator, but I hear anecdotally from my friends who are educators, at least those who are K through 12, it's just done a number on their learning overall. I mean, I don't have specifics, but it's taken a toll. So yeah, it's still a lot of ups and downs, and professionally, I guess it's going well.
It's really important that it's going well for you. I mean, as long as there's something positive for you, then that is very important for your patient.
It's going great. I mean, the house is going well. It's going along. We just want to get the hell out of the house more often.
Yeah.
It's starting to become endemic, but that's a whole
other. It may be here to stay, but we're not doomed. I mean, we will find ways to adapt.
As a friend reminded me, and as I remember from school, every pandemic has an end. It's no matter when.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely. You're obviously not going to be able to do anything for your birthday, but is there anything you can muster up? What are you going to plan? What are you going to try?
Our Star Trek Club has a party on Sunday, our holiday party. So we have that.
That's great. Colin had a great idea for a convention he attended in London recently.
Yeah, destination.
And people suggested people wear different color stickers, just a simple traffic light, red, amber, and green, about how close people would like to get to each other. So people with green don't mind being hugged, and people with the amber, I think, can be high-fived, and people with the red really don't want to be approached at all. But that sometimes works for those sort of mass events. I thought that was a great idea.
It's something, at least. As far as any big celebrations, not.
What are you watching on
really.
TV? What are you enjoying on the telly?
Right now we're watching Hawkeye and Star Trek Discovery. And, we're pretty much caught up on Star Trek. But I've been a little busy playing Fallout 76 to get into more TV. At some point, I will lay off the Fallout 76 and try my hand at Foundation, because I've heard good things about it.
It's a beautiful world that David Goyer, who's the creator, has built. I mean, obviously you got some help from Asimov, I've enjoyed Foundation. I'm in the first episode, so that's a spoiler. But I was in it so briefly that it didn't affect my interest. It didn't put me off, because if I knew I was coming back, I wouldn't be able to watch it. They're all great, actually. The whole cast is great, but it's very well put together and quite fascinating show. Really enjoyed that. I also am enjoying a show called Hannah.
I saw it pop up on Prime. When we were
It's-
watching The Expanse, right? We're also watching The Expanse.
Yeah, The Expanse. I started watching The Expanse too. I mean, I had some time off sitting in my room in Melbourne, so I watched a ton of TV. But I loved how beautifully made Hannah was. It's just one of the most beautifully put together shows. So I highly recommend it.
I'll check it out. And with that, I'm going to back out because I have hogged time and it's time for someone else. But it's always good to talk to you, Sid.
Thank you. Yeah.
Hopefully we'll meet in person someday.
Inshallah. Thank you.
Thanks, Sid.
Thanks, Ariel. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
The social distancing red light, green light thing was actually Rob Moriarty's idea.
It's Rob's idea.
Yes, for those wondering
you know
what that looks like.
Colin did say it was Rob's idea, and I completely forgot. Sorry, Rob. Wherever you are.
It was genius. It was genius. So
Genius. It's a great idea. Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. We're going to go to another birthday. Zach is celebrating another turn around the sun. There he is.
Zach, happy birthday to you. Can everybody say happy birthday?
Happy
birthday,
Happy
Say.
Happy birthday, Zach. When is your birthday? Is it today, tomorrow, yesterday, in 2 weeks?
It was actually last week.
How
Yeah.
was it? Did you do anything?
Because it was the weekend, I did multiple things over multiple days. Friday was actually just kind of the treat myself day. My girlfriend and I, we just grabbed lunch and just chilled out. Saturday, there was a small fondue party with some friends. And then a lot of Sidsters got together and we did a improv storytelling competition game that I like to play. And I do a show, and that's actually, there's a show that I do based off of it.
Oh, great.
So we had that going. And then on Sunday, some friends I hadn't seen in like years, we all got together and we walked around downtown, checking out the shops and looking around. And
Wow, that's really great. What a great weekend. And I hear you've just moved house.
yeah, if you remember that kind of little setup I had last time we talked, that was where I was doing my work up to 9 hours a day.
Yeah.
And I just needed a change. I decided I was going to start going house hunting. An old friend from Boy Scouts became a realtor and he's like, Zach, I'll take care of you. I wanted a tiny little house with a big yard. Yeah, that's what we ended up finding and just been selling it
Fantastic.
for the past.
Oh my goodness. We're not going to look for a house soon, but we will be looking for a house at some point. And my criteria is it's got to have at least 2 acres because I'm interested in doing something with the land. So tell us a little bit about the place. What's it like?
It's got a finished basement with a little bar. Me and my friends would like to do Dungeons and Dragons, so I'm probably gonna set it up to be like a little tavern area for the game.
Fantastic.
I even got little LED torch lamp light bulbs to plug into the lights of the bar, so it looks like a nice torches going. That's kind of a work in progress. The big thing is the backyard. So the first part is just gonna be like the general yard, 2 steps where people socialize.
Yeah.
And working to kind of just really landscape the heck out of that second part. So
Absolutely. I went into kind of rabbit hole while I was in Thailand and Australia, because when you know that one day you're going to buy a house or try and buy a house, then you start to dream. And so I was online looking at the kind of houses and what I would do and blah, blah, blah. I ended up in this whole biomimicry subset of the web and getting great soil together and doing all that. So I've been just feeding off these. It's a YouTube channel that's kind of something around the Finger Lakes, and it's someone Flock, who's this young person who has gone in with a couple of friends and bought a house up in upstate New York. So they've absolutely massively into getting the land to be as close to nature as it possibly can, while at the same time being something that humans can sit around and enjoy and dogs can roll over in and all, just basically, but trying to be as coexistently conscientious as possible with nature. And it's a wonderful site. I think it's called Flock something. Anyway, you can look it up and you'll go down the same rabbit hole of what she's doing to her land and how she's trying to develop it and what she's planting, because they've got such amazing native species. But I'll tell you a tip that my mum, which you might be interested in. My mum was a great gardener. And what she did with the garden was really interesting. And you have a luxury of a lovely amount of land. She made sure the land was created into rooms, much like an open plan house, so that you would have to walk into places to find things. You couldn't just see the whole thing in one go. I don't know if that interests you, but that really worked in our garden.
Remember you talking about that last year and actually trying to think of a way to make that happen, just because it is so long and so wide. So I've been trying to, I've been really interested in doing that.
If you dig out, say, a water feature, you can put all that soil to create a height if you don't have height. And you may not want to know what to do with the water feature yet, and you may not want to go all the expense of lining it and everything like that. But you can always just leave it and go, that is a project to come. But I've created a bit of height here. I was also looking at organic ponds. And they're very expensive, but they don't require any filtration apart from natural filtration, which is trenches basically and forced through gravel and things like that. But you can actually have live fish in a pond and swim with them. And I think as long as you know that a garden is a 10-year project minimum, so there's nothing you can do now that except for cosmetic stuff that is going to be useful for the next 3 years. It's planning way ahead, which is the fun.
Planning ahead, trial and error. I had 2 beds this year and the tree line shaded out a good part of it. So I'm gonna have to move them over, but I know exactly where to move it because I can see in the bed where the plants didn't grow. And then the plants that did grow, they're like huge. Monster broccoli and cabbage and all that growing there. I'm like,
awesome.
I've got 2 lasagna compost beds.
There's all kinds of things I found. You can replace lawn with wild strawberries. How cool is that? Wild strawberries, and they take people's footfall. They don't mind being squashed as people walk across them, so that you can have whole areas which is just wild strawberries just hang out there. That's wonderful.
I've actually got that, and it's one of those things where I'm like looking at this and it's like, I don't want to rip up those weeds. I love those weeds.
Is it a long way from where you used to live?
It's about an hour away.
What's the vibe? Because obviously neighbors and stuff come into play.
So neighbors, a lady next door, she says hi every once in a while. Gentleman next door, he just retired, so we've been talking more, especially when his little dogs come out and they bark at my cat who's on a leash out there. Lady across the street, we were talking on Halloween because we were both lamenting the fact we weren't getting a lot of trick-or-treaters this year. So
neighbors are crucial. And it's funny, especially when you get out into the woods, into the country, neighborliness is a big deal. Everybody's borrowing everything off everybody. And all of that stuff, that's so American to me because it happens a bit in Britain, but not so much. We happen to have just great neighbors where I am. Everybody sort of knows everybody now. I was shocked. I came driving in at about 10:30 the other night, and I've been away for 8 months as I've been boring everyone with. And then I got out in the morning and started to load the car because I had to do a Costco run. I had to go shopping. And all these people are like, you're back. And I was like, my goodness, I didn't even know. Thank you. It really matters. It's really cool.
It's amazing. It's wonderful when that happens. I used to live in Plainsboro and there's a Trader Joe's there. And I would stop in every week to get food. And it's one of those things where I popped in and it was like 6 months after I'd moved out. The guy is there's like, you look familiar. Do you live around here? I'm like, I moved out. It's like, no, I remember you. It's always amazing when it happens.
It is amazing. Did you feel you got a good deal with the house and everything? Are you happy with the whole the process?
Well, as my realtor says, there's a reason why people only do this once every 10 years. But I do like the house. It's there's some things that still need to be kind of fixed up, and I'm kind of slowly working on it. Whatever I can do myself, I've been doing. I've been painting the rooms, patching up some holes in the drywall and fixing tiles there. And then if there's something that's too big for me, I've been trying to get the work done. I've actually just got the roof replaced today. So could you hold on for 1 second? I just got it. Or actually, hold on. That's probably the workers actually. Sorry about that.
That's good. Or the robbers. So, good luck.
Sid, the chat is cracking up that your first thing that you did when you got home was go to Costco.
Yes, the house was empty. My wife hates to be alone, so she left, just went to her mum's house. This place is just empty. And we had mice everywhere. And we just that's how empty it was.
No.
I am not staying there without Sid. I'm just not going to be there alone.
The dogs didn't help?
Well, I don't know. Oh, one of them I've only just met. They're not here at the moment, otherwise I'd introduce the new one. The 3-month-old I've never met before, called Parker, who's a squidgy wiener dog, really pretty. They might have helped. I don't know. Nina, the older one, kind of freaks out Shana a bit because if she does, she catches mice, but she swallows them whole. And it's like, That's not what we meant. That's not what we meant. They literally don't even, she walks around with the mouse in her mouth, like, look what I got, look what I got. Oh.
Her digestive system must be.
She can eat anything.
Insane.
I swear,
Wow.
I swear to goodness, she can eat. She's like a goat that dog can eat. It's terrifying. Whereas the little teeny one is only 3 months old. She can't eat anything. Just have her basic puppy, whatever, kibble.
Zach, thank God you're back.
Yep, I'm back.
Was it robbers or construction workers?
Construction workers.
Okay.
So yeah, they were just finishing up with the roof. So I've been trying to fix up what I can, and like I said, it's luckily I got some good suggestions. I've been talking with some people about throwing solar up there. When I needed to have the roof redone for that, the solar guy hooked me up with someone in the area.
Wow.
So.
Is it an absolute fortune? Because I heard it was $20,000 to put on a roof here.
I mean,
depends on the size of the roof, surely.
Yeah. One of the things I'm also going to start looking into is getting one of those split heating cooling systems. Because apparently, even though it's electric heating, the split systems are 5 times more efficient than actually fuel because they use the heat exchange process. So I'm trying to do kind of as much as I could do in a house that's already built, but very similar.
Yeah, that's brilliant. And well, you've got a smaller house, so you can actually. This is not an over-ambitious project. That's amazing. That's really cool. Yeah, I was reading that you spend, I think it's less than 5% energy compared to a normal house if you can do a net zero house. And you can actually power a lot of it from solar, even though you're storing that solar in states like Pennsylvania and Massachusetts, where the sun only comes to say hi and leaves pretty much every day. That's really exciting. That's really great. And the garden. So that's your whole summer.
Oh, yeah. Away. Garden. And I did put in a little fruit tree grove as well. So
fantastic. Yeah. What fruit you up to?
Apples and peaches. I've got macoons and wine saps for the apples. And there was a very easy starter peach that I picked up for the peaches.
So there's an interesting thing that I was watching on apple growing. You've got to prune those around about now, actually. This is about the time you do it to ensure the right growth, because you don't want, that's your main branch. You don't want branches doing that too much because they're very weak. They split. So you want to make sure you've got branches that do that. It's kind of a thing, and you want to start as early as possible. Here am I sounding like I know something about apples, but I have grown 3 apple trees, and I've got two pear trees. And I noticed when I was climbing the tree to get apples that the branch that I put my hand on just split.
Okay.
And so you want to have those lateral branches are your important ones, and you want to keep them really low. You don't want them to get, you have to use the ladder, which means you're brutal about pruning it.
They are dwarf trees, so they're also going to be
they're dwarf trees. Okay, so they're going to stay pretty low. You can espalier those, you know that. They're amazingly versatile. You can make a fence out of apples. So it comes just to your waist and just goes along waist height.
This is giving me a great idea because what I did was I planted them like a little circle. If I could do that with the branches, it could make like a natural wall. So I would almost like have a natural tree gazebo.
You probably can. You definitely can. I think you're going to want to be able to get air coming in from the top.
Yeah.
But you absolutely can. As long as air is their best friend.
Yeah.
It stops the rust blight that they get. I don't absolutely know. This is literally regurgitating my Thailand experience of going down rabbit holes on YouTube and talking to one-way conversations with people about growing apples and biomimicry and soil. There's the wonderful movement that's happening among American farmers to re-energize the soil. They're not tilling the soil.
But with that no-till kind of constant compost thing, there is a farm out in California that's become pretty popular with that, Singing Frog Farms.
Right.
And they're starting to get well known. They're actually run by 2 of my friends from Peace Corps.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. I get to read up on all their mulching things, and they pull out a lot of produce doing this constant compost no-till farming, and it's amazing.
Absolutely. And growing different things at the same time that complement each other on the same soil. That's fantastic. It is so exciting. You're going to have this is the beginning of a new era of coolness for you.
This is the other great thing about the house. I finally ended up with this really nice home office.
Wow, that is so adult. I think, was it your kitchen table before?
Yeah, kind of kitchen dining room. It was a small.
And a lot of teapots, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
What happened to the teapots? The teapots are screaming from boxes going, Zach, you abandoned us. You don't love us anymore?
I'll send some pictures to Mel. I got the family hutch, and that's just loaded up with teapots and all my tea. So I'll send pictures to Mel. She can send them to you. So you can see what happens to the teapots.
That's great, Zach. I'm really happy for you. I love these great stories. Things are coming up roses. That's brilliant, Zach. Thanks for talking to me, and we'll talk again soon, I hope.
Yeah.
Thanks, Zach. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
There's some questions in the chat about levitating teapots. That was a prank that Zach pulled on us around Halloween of last year. It is in the YouTube highlights video from October of 2020, if you want to go check that out. All right, we're going to go talk to Una, who has some news to share.
Hello.
Una, long
Hi
time
there.
no see, darling.
Hello.
How wonderful to see you again.
It's very nice to see you. How are you? Is it nice to be home?
It's just fantastic to be home.
bet.
I mean,
I
you know,
bet.
you know, go away for those months and just can't bear it anymore, and you just go,
Mhm.
I'm done.
Yeah,
And
8 months is a long time.
the fact that I couldn't leave the house was the most annoying thing.
Mm.
But we as actors can't do anything because
Yeah. You've got to be there. You've got to be on. They need you.
Yeah, if we're
Mhm.
out, if we get even a close contact, we're out for 10 days or 3 weeks, depending if you get the video of COVID. That's terrible. So we couldn't do anything. We just sat at home.
So just stuck at home. Well, you know, you've learnt a lot about soil.
Yes, I've learned a lot of stuff. I'm still nowhere near expert. Yes.
That's where we all are in life, isn't it? I've learned exactly enough to be confused.
Yeah, that's right.
Well, I'm in a hotel right now. I've come down to London. I saw some friends last night. I'm meant to be going to the theatre tomorrow. I'm meant to be seeing Ray Fiennes do 4 quartets. So here I am.
Cancelled?
Don't know. My friend's coming down from Coventry. I think she's a bit mad because, I mean, people are just... Let's see if you can see out my window, actually, because it's pretty brilliant. Yeah. So it's... Look, I think that's the Eurostar behind me. So people are kind of jumping on that.
It probably is. Yeah. I remember when that was being built.
It's been mad. People are trying to get to France tonight before the
France is shutting down, isn't it? Yeah,
France is not having anyone British in quite wisely. So here I am. I'm mad. I got a booster last week, so I thought I'm just going to risk it.
I've just sent off for a bunch of testing kits, you know, because if I'm feeling a bit odd, at least I can take a test. But they're hard to come by. I'm very fortunate to be able to just go, I'll just buy a few testing kits.
Yeah, they stopped walk-ins in Cambridgeshire. Matthew was still due his booster, so he nipped down to get a walk-in. They said, no, we're not doing walk-ins anymore. You have to book because we're just going to get overwhelmed.
I'm jealous that you might get a chance to see. I'm saying might, but that you might get a chance to see Rafe on stage. He's just, he's a pretty damn good actor on film, but on stage is something else.
I'll be gutted. Yeah, this friend and I, we're 4 quartets junkies. So we've heard it kind of recited and all these sorts of things. So getting to see it at with Ray Fiennes.
What are you up to? Have you got a project? I mean, you were up to something last time we talked.
Crikey.
But you weren't at the position where you really could talk about it very much.
I've written 3 books this year. So that's been my year.
So that was one of them.
That was one of them. Yeah.
What have you written that you can talk about? Tell us the title of.
Oh, I think I can tell you about all of them now, actually.
Brilliant.
That one's come out this week. So these are the 2 I wrote. Thank you. That's the second one of this year. So that's out in the States this week. That's out in Britain in next month. And then earlier in the year, the autobiography of Mr. Spock.
Fantastic.
Life takes you down some funny places. It really does. And then I've got another book. I've just handed that into the editor. So I did finish that about 2 weeks ago. This year's 3 books. I'm so tired.
How did you find time to do these things?
I didn't see anyone or talk to anyone at all.
Oh my goodness.
Except my child and my partner. That was it. Yeah. Honestly, I thought I'll take August off. I'll do nothing. I got called for bloody jury service.
I'm sorry I'm laughing, but that is just such an irony. Jury service during COVID too.
I know, it was, thanks guys, at least it was August. But more cheerfully, my Verity has decided she wants to be an actress.
That's fantastic. How old is she?
8.
That's perfect. And it will be out of her system by the time she's 10. It'll do something more interesting.
Flipping hope so. going to be
nice.
earning.
That's fantastic. I mean, I don't know if she's so adamant that she's going to be determined to go to, one of those entertainment schools where they teach you to sing and dance.
I think she might. She's really serious about it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as their academics are okay, I don't think there's anything wrong with having a lot of fun while you're at school.
She's having a great time. I know. It's
Absolutely.
amazing. She's in a little drama club. They've just done a production. Honestly, which fairy tale would you do with kids? They've done Bluebeard.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
So locking up wives in the dungeon downstairs.
I know, yes. And they had this zombie bride dance they did. It was absolutely brilliant. She completely nailed it. So she's the annoying thing is she's really good. And I'm not just her mum. She's really good. Yeah. So I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah.
Ooh, that's really exciting.
I know,
Is she a good reader?
Only if I'm not there. So she won't read in front of me. But yeah, she can read. She loves the singing. She loves the dancing. She's got great memory. She is imaginative. Yeah, it's going to happen.
Reading is absolutely the key, because she will play so many different characters in her head as she reads. She'll do all the voices in her head like we all do. We read and we bring it to life in our heads, but that practice again and again, knowing she wants to be an actor, that's fantastic.
Yeah, her mimicry is really good, and her comic timing is just, it's a delight.
Great. And she's already got Bluebeard's castle under her belt.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a version of Romeo and Juliet next semester, so we'll see what they do with that. And they turn it into a kind of reality show and that kind of thing, so that it's all.
Oh, well, that's really exciting. That's really creative.
So
hopefully they got a good drama teacher, because
he's lovely. He's lovely. Yeah. And he copes with a gaggle of 9-year-olds, and he does babies as well. They've got smaller groups, so they've got kind of 5 to 8-year-olds, and he does that with great humor. Imagine, drive me crackers.
That's amazing. I can still credit my English teacher from school as being the reason why I kind of am okay at what I do, is because he taught me how to read. It's such a difficult thing to learn how to do. The comprehension in reading and understanding some of the nuances of what writers put down. It's fascinating. And that's where the creativity just jumps for joy, is when you find something a writer didn't necessarily put down on the page, but that's what they meant.
Oh, and the writer loves that. That's the best thing that happens to me, is when someone goes, "Oh, look," and you go, "Wow, I didn't know I did that. That's aren't we clever?" It's genuinely the nicest bit. You go, "Flipping heck, that was latent or wasn't there, or the text came alive because it happened in your head." It's absolutely lovely. Yeah.
Absolutely
So that's what she's going to do.
That's great.
I think we're going to have an actor.
Well, tell her she's brilliant from me. I think that's a brilliant.
She'll be livid she's not here tonight. She'll be really.
I know, because especially as you're probably in a fancy hotel.
Well, I think her dad's taken her off to one in Cambridge. Actually, I think they're in a hotel tonight. So,
good. Okay, all right.
She's doing all right.
She's doing okay. I'm stuck here.
Stuck here at home, and you're having a nice time. So
you go to the theatre with your friends, la-di-da.
Outrageous.
Well, listen, I really hope that the whole show goes ahead.
Me too. Yeah.
It's going to be absolutely wonderful if it does. I know that it's a minute by minute thing. You just be ready to turn around even once you get there. But hopefully you have a great
might be
time.
the 2 quartets.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll be livid if we don't get East Coker. I'll be very cross. At the very least, I'm there for East Coker, but I'll cope without a gidding.
Yeah, absolutely.
So fingers crossed. Yeah.
Lovely catching up with you, Una.
Very good to see you.
I'm so happy we're friends.
Bless you. Take care of yourself. Really glad you're here.
Very much. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Una. Thanks for making the rest of us feel like sloths. Writing 3 books in 1 year.
Oh, yeah.
All right, folks, that is it for today. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you to everybody for being here. This is a lovely return to normalcy. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend. Our next meeting is January 4th, Tuesday, January 4th. So
Merry Christmas indeed. Happy holidays.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy Christmas. Take care, everyone.
Happy holidays.